Manchester United have gone ahead to make the Giovani Quenda inquiry. And they're like, he's one of those players they're obviously wanting to sign, obviously coming through and really compete with Amadi Diallo. What does that implicate? It implies that Antony's time at Manchester United looks like it's over. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. 1st of December 2024, and we are here to obviously bring you the latest news and information as far as everything is really concerned. And we are the channel that brings you Manchester United content in here, and I think we're the biggest in Africa, and we're really trying to obviously enlarge it to the next level. Now, Ruben Amorim has something to say about how he's pushing players to the limits, and then on what tactics are at the club of Manchester United. Let's see close to 200 likes much in this video as we get into this mode. Now, United are really trying to really make what we call signings during the summer transfer window and the January transfer window. All note it that from the first, like 31 days from now, you get 30 days from now, the January transfer window is really going to be opening up. And United has been linked to very many players in the recent past, ever since Ruben Amorim really took over the job. Even when Erik ten Hag was still here, very many players were linked to Manchester United. And I went ahead and told people that I think that is being blown out of proportion, because with the signings made, the manager has to obviously have to work with them and see how things are really going to be panning out. Now, reinforcements will come in through later, you get, and Ruben Amorim is still really trying to see which players he needs and which players he won't need at the club of Manchester United. So here, David Austin midweek had something to say about Antony, that Antony is the most obvious player United could sell to raise funds. Amorim may try to remold him as a wing back, but unless he sparks a turnaround, an exit appears the most likely outcome if United can find a buyer willing to pay enough money. Obviously, for Antony, no one doubts that he has been struggling ever since the season really ever since his second spell at the club of Manchester United, and he has gone ahead obviously put in a very big shift left, right and center as a player for the club of Manchester United. And I tell you what, he's really one of those that I've gone ahead to obviously see not improving under Erik ten Hag, the manager that really made him what he was at Ajax, and even at Ruben Amorim. At Ruben Amorim, he has, I think, played, is it one game, and he had some 60 minutes into his legs, but he never really went ahead to impress. I tell you, never did he come up and obviously impress into that game. So if he can really make a very huge turnaround, then Quenda won't really be making his space to Manchester United. That is it. Or if Antony impresses and United are really pushing in to sign Quenda, Giovany, then that means the manager will be like, I want to try out Amadi Diallo in the number 10 position, because you all know to it that the best attribute, or if you want to get the best out of Amadi Diallo, go out and play him into that number 10 position. He'll give you best results, best end products in there for you. And I believe he's one of the most press resistant players you're really having at Manchester United in those that play into the front line. So Quenda inquiry doesn't mean that Antony is really going to be on the exit. Antony's being on the exit will depend on how he's really going to be playing in the next coming days. You get? Because you're really having games, like 2 games every week, and Antony has a lot to prove. But it will depend on his performances in these games. Now, from Antony, that has gone ahead to open up a chapter of Quenda. The 17-year-old Portuguese international has been really put on the ladder by the club of Manchester United to obviously go ahead and obviously sign him. And we've been told by Abola, one of the biggest football outlet news from Portugal, that Man United are determined to sign Giovani Quenda and are now preparing a £50 million plus bonuses offer to Sporting for the next summer. Now, United have gone ahead to sign 3 players from Sporting Lisbon. One, I'm talking about directly, Cristiano Ronaldo, who has gone ahead obviously turned out to be the GOAT of the game. And you know, in the Premier League era, he was the first person to win the Ballon d'Or. And to show you that he was that special, the second player to win the Ballon d'Or in the Premier League has been Rodri. So how many years passed? He won it in 2008, and this guy has won it in 2024, meaning that it's 16 years since a Premier League player who won a Ballon d'Or. You understand? So Giovani Quenda is really one of those players that United is looking at from Sporting Lisbon, because Sporting Lisbon has always gone ahead to obviously give us players who haven't gone ahead to disappoint. Secondly, Nani Lewis, we all know to it that he never reached his potential, but he really put in some good performances at Manchester United. Being at Manchester United for close to 8 years, it's not something simple for any player. The other player, Bruno Fernandes, you know, he has been the best player ever since I think he was signed. From 2020, I don't think there is a player that has gone ahead to put in consistency performances like this guy at Manchester United. And the other player is Manuel Ugarte, who has not been signed directly from Sporting Lisbon to Manchester United, but he was signed the previous season and he never really got ample playing time at PSG, and now he's at Manchester United. So he also has roots of Sporting Lisbon. So the manager that is managing Manchester United believes in Giovani Quenda, and he believes in really getting in these youngsters because they still have that anger to come in through and obviously do the needful. By the way, I first watched this guy play when they are playing Man City, you know, and they beat Man City by 4-1. Then when they're really being beaten by Arsenal 5-1, I really loved how this guy played off the right wing back side, and he showed us his potential, and I'm like, there is something special in this guy. And bring him to Manchester United at the age of 17, 50 million pounds. I think he's worth it because very many other teams are really looking at him. Liverpool is looking at him. He has been linked to Barcelona, Real Madrid, and very many other teams, meaning that there is quality in this player. And I believe that unless otherwise, we don't really get the money. The only block for us not getting this player will be the money, the financial issues. But Ruben Amorim is really doing the due diligence to obviously tell us exactly what is really having to put into the bag to obviously get this player. I know he'll convince him. He gave him his debut. I've seen that he has started to play for Sporting Lisbon this season. As I look at him, 2024, 2025, this season, 12 games, he has 1 goal. Champions League has played all the 5 games and is having 1 assist. And in the Taka La Liga, 2024-25 has 1 game. So he started to play for Sporting Lisbon this season. And meaning that who gave him his breakthrough into the team, it's none other than Ruben Amorim. So I think convincing him to come to Manchester United will be something easy, and we just can't wait to see Quenda coming in through. But the inquiry being made by the club of Manchester United is an indicator that United are really hugely interested in really signing this player known as Giovani Quenda. He's valued for 50 million pounds. You understand? He's valued for 50 million pounds as a player, and United are really all determined to do business, to obviously go ahead and obviously do the needful. And Abola also added that Manchester United are determined to sign Quenda and are now preparing a 50 million pound bid plus bonuses offered to Sporting Lisbon for next summer. And I think that they are really spot on. I don't see us spending a lot in the winter, because Ruben Amorim will be like putting himself onto the spot. What he has to do is simple. Don't sign in playing the January transfer window, right? Assess all these players, give them a fair chance, and then offloading players will start off in the summer transfer window. That is it, because he would have gone ahead to be with his players from November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 7 months. And after 7 months, he'll be knowing who to drop and who not to drop into the system that he has gone ahead to obviously deploy at the club of Manchester United. So that's exactly what we are really thinking about this Quenda guy, and he's really left-footed, he's swift, and he's really one of those players that you have to look at and obviously understand. And one of the reasons as to why the manager wants to bring him, because he has tested him and he knows to it that he can push him to the limit and obviously offer him the best that he really deserves. And Amorim has gone ahead to say, you have to push the guys to the limit and the others to train the next day. Luke Shaw played a few minutes and he will now train. Now, he's talking about pushing the players to the limit, and he wants to bring in at least a little bit of his own crop of players groomed by him from Sporting Lisbon to obviously mix it up with what is at Manchester United. You really understand? So that is Ruben Amorim for you, trying to push to obviously get in players that are really willing to obviously put in the big shift. Remember, managers have always gone ahead to obviously come in at Manchester United and obviously gone ahead to obviously bring in players that they've gone ahead to work with previously. You get, when you look at David Moyes brought us Fellaini, you get, then Louis van Gaal, he got us who? But Bastian Schweinsteiger, you know. Then he brought in, had he worked with Dari Blind? Then when we brought in Jose Mourinho, he brought in Nemanja Matic. He had worked with him at Chelsea. Then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he had no one to bring in because he had already worked with Erling Haaland and he failed to bring in him. He went to RB Salzburg. But managers at Manchester United have been having that history. Erik ten Hag, Antony, Lisandro Martinez, he had worked with them at Ajax, you get. Then Eriksson, he signed him on a free. He had been training with him at Ajax before he came in through to play for Brentford for the last 6 months of the season, you know, and he went ahead to perform very well in 2021, 2022. Then you see he had gone ahead to reunite with Matthias de Ligt and Mazarawi, who he had worked with at Ajax. You understand, in that dream team that really went ahead, obviously put in very good shifts in there for you. So even Ruben Amorim is trying to obviously increase his spine, and people are talking about Joe Harris to come in through, Goncalo Inacio, and very many others. So that is the manager for the club of Manchester United, Ruben Amorim, trying to put in a very good shift altogether and balanced into the mix. So we are waiting to see how that pans out. But after talking about pushing these players to the limit that he knows, he has also discussed about the video analysis system that he's willing to introduce at the club of Manchester United. And Amorim has said, I was a good footballer. Videos more than 12 minutes, he questioned. Forget, because they lose concentration. Instead of video, we do it like walking and jogging. It's way to do it. They are very good players. They need to believe and will show individual stuff. That's Ruben Amorim for you. So he's like phasing out that video analysis, like 12 minutes means and it looks like he'll obviously come up and obviously throw it to your face when you're really jogging and obviously walking. That's what he has gone ahead to introduce at the club of Manchester United. I've always told you that every manager comes in with his new plan at the club of Manchester United, and we pray to it that Ruben Amorim's plan works out even today when you're playing against Everton, because we need to win this beautiful game of football before we touch it with Arsenal midweek. That is next week on the 4th or 5th of December. So I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about Quenda to United inquiry made, as Antony looks like he's gonna be the culprit to obviously leave the club of Manchester United in the coming months. Bye bye.